right, hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the topic of limb loss and amputation injuries, life-changing cases that demand maximum compensation. Welcome to a new informative segment of Mototalks with Mitch and Mel from the law firm of Proner and Proner. I'm your host and fellow writer, Mel McGoyup. And as often as we can, we will sit down with the personal injury expert himself and writer, Mr. Mitch Proner, a personal injury attorney with over 30 years of experience, here to answer your questions or any interesting topics that you might find useful in the personal injury world. Now, just a quick plug, if you want to meet us in person, we will be present at Ducati, New York's Breast Cancer Awareness event. It's this Saturday, October 25th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ducati, New York City in Soho. They will be having some coffee, food, and a DJ. Come by and show your support. Check out the motorcycles and please say hello to us. Now, before we go on, remember, folks, if you need to contact us, all consultations are free and confidential. Call us at any time at 1-800-321-1234. How are you doing, Mitch? Did you do any riding this weekend?
Doing well. Yeah. So this type of case, unfortunately, it happens to riders, and I've had the honor to represent these individuals that suffer these tremendous injuries. So typically, the most common amputations that we see as riders, I would say the most common is left leg below the knee.
Yeah.
And what happens is the left turning vehicle doesn't see the rider and clips him, causing damage to the left leg below the knee.
Right.
And the doctors can't save it. Other times it could happen on the right leg. It could happen on an arm. There's vascular damage. It could be from road rash. You could have infection and disruption of the blood supply. And sometimes they do operation after operation, and sometimes it's the rider that says, I can't take this anymore. Just get rid of it. And sometimes you could have a neck injury.
Yeah.
Which can involve damage to the bundle of nerves in there called the brachial plexus. And you could have a paralyzed limb. And the individual goes around the paralyzed limb for a while, and then they say, just get rid of it. And it's believe it or not, it's a matter of choice at times.
Yeah.
And then other times, I've had so many stories where people have been in the emergency room and they wanted to amputate. And they said, no, doctor, I don't give you permission. Don't amputate it. And they ended up saving the limb.
Oh, wow.
So it's unfortunately, it's a part of motorcycle collisions at times.
Yeah.
Now, the issues with amputations typically are damages, and an experienced attorney can help put together the appropriate damages. For example, a prosthesis. I've had clients that have lost limbs, and they could walk into a bar and you would never know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would never know. I've had clients that that skied with a prosthesis, and you never know. Now, those prostheses cost money. And you might have multiple ones. One for running, one for work, one for an activity that you like. And then a lot of times they need revisions. So, for example, when the prosthesis is first fitted, it might be good, but then over time, the amputated limb might change. There might be additional muscle atrophy and breakdown of the tissue. It doesn't fit anymore. And then the technology could change. So you want to have money for repeat fittings and repeat prostheses, and there could be a lot of expense involved in treating an amputation over life, depending on the age of the individual and what level the amputation is and what body part. And that's all part of what an attorney's got to do to get the right experts so that you can get the right compensation.
Right. So what are the legal steps that people should actually take right away if they unfortunately are put in that situation?
Well, the first thing they should do is they got to worry about their health care. That's more important than
Yeah.
anything else. Secondly, they should hire a good attorney that's experienced. I think I've tried more motorcycle accident cases than any other attorney on the planet. If there's anybody that's done more of this motorcycle trials than I have, I'd like to know who they are. But I've done motorcycle versus car, motorcycle versus bus, motorcycle versus truss, motorcycle versus motorcycle, improper sign, improper roadway, exploding gas tanks, failure to retract kickstands, helmet cases, improper helmets, improper design, improper manufacture. I've done wheel wobble cases. I've done. I've just done a lot of motorcycle accident trials, and I've cross-examined accident reconstructionists, and I've used accident reconstructionists, and it's challenging work. But so number one, get an experienced attorney. Number two, hire that attorney right away, because if you've got involved in a catastrophic motorcycle accident, the insurance carrier, they've got lawyers and investigators there to work on it immediately. And when they're working on it, they're not working to try and get you as much money as possible.
Right.
They're not like a good neighbor. You're not in their safe hands. They're big businesses that make their money by collecting as much as possible in premiums and paying out as little as possible in claims. And they will defend the case, regardless of how it happened and how badly you're injured.
Right.
They're going to try and minimize their payments. They hire lawyers, and good lawyers. And the lawyers are going to look at every aspect of the case to see if there's a way the carrier doesn't have to pay.
Yeah.
And you should have a lawyer on your side immediately. Don't give any statements about how the incident occurred. Get your medical care taken care of. And if anybody contacts you to give a statement, you say, I'll give a statement. Just go through my attorney. And a good attorney is going to make sure you're not giving any statements without preparation. But the attorney can also have access to any evidence that might be out there that might help you to prove your claim.
Right. You mentioned something, and we had talked about this in an earlier segment, the life care plan. Correct me if I'm wrong. One thing when we talked about that before, I was thinking, because you mentioned technology changes, and especially with like amputees. I mean, how does that get factored in? Like, there might be a robotic leg that may be available in a couple of years. I mean, is that also calculated in by an expert?
It can't be speculative.
Okay.
It's got to be within a reasonable degree of medical certainty or a reasonable degree of economic certainty.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're paralyzed, the other side can't bring in testimony that says, oh, they're working on cures where he might be able to walk again. So the life care plan shouldn't be for 20 years because in 10 years there might be a cure for paralysis.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It can't. It's got to be based on reality, not hope. And that's what an expert comes in and talks about that.
Yeah. It's interesting. You had mentioned being paralyzed. I had a buddy a couple of years ago, but he went down and he's paralyzed from the neck down. Now he's in a chair. But I've also met people who are riders on the track who are paralyzed from the waist down, and they're still riding. So yeah, it
Yeah, I got a
is.
client that still rides.
Wow.
And he was paralyzed from the chest down, and um, he rides a trike, but he still
Yeah,
rides.
that's still right. That's still riding. That's still riding. I think that's great. So, with all that being said, with there, I mean, also what can also be factored in, obviously, is well, not obviously, but emotional recovery. Is that also factored in into the case
Well,
for
you're
pain and
entitled to
suffering?
loss of quality of life, and
Okay.
if you need money for counseling, of course, that should be covered.
Yeah. And do you feel that sometimes settlements would be good enough to cover something as severe as an
It
amputation?
depends on the value of the settlement.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a sad topic to talk about, but it is
Everybody
definitely.
wants their case settled, and I want my client's case settled
Yeah. Yeah.
because with a settlement, you know what you're getting. With a
Right.
jury trial, you don't know what the jury's going to come back with.
Right.
But if you can't get that settlement, certainly a trial is something to be considered.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that no one out there gets to that severe. But I mean,
You and me
you gotta.
both. I mean, we
Yeah.
ride, we take that
Yeah.
risk too. So
Yeah. Definitely.
I've been
Definitely.
riding uh, over 40 years. And every time I'm out there, given my profession, I know that there are bad drivers out there.
Yeah.
And I try to ride like I'm invisible because to those
Yeah.
bad drivers, I am invisible.
Yeah.
So I don't expect that they see me. I assume they don't. And I try to ride accordingly.
Yeah. I've been taking a few rides lately out to Long Island. Went to Garden City,
Yeah.
Long Island. It's only my second time out there, but yeah, it's definitely different drivers out there. So, because you don't get to open it up here as much in Manhattan, maybe Upper West Side, but yeah, it's like I will admit I have more city street time than I do have freeway time, longer ride time. So and it was windy this weekend, but it was nice out there.
Yeah. I used to, my riding now is more point A to point B riding where
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and I ride till the night and I usually go a long distance.
And with your motorcycle, it's forward controls, right? Your legs are stretched out.
It's a road glide, so
Road glide.
it's a big sled.
I'll have to admit I'm considering changing. Mine's a little tucked forward in my back, and I had my girlfriend was in the back, and it was just like, oh, I could see why someone rode a Harley rode by with the backrest, and I guess his wife or girlfriend sitting back, just relax, and here I am holding up the weight.
Sometimes a change in a seat can make a difference.
Yeah, that's true. That's
but
definitely true.
Other times that doesn't do it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. You heard it from the expert himself, Mr. Mitch Proner. And don't forget, if you need our help, please give us a call 24/7 at 1-800-321-1234, where consultations are free and confidential. That'll do it for now. And thank you again for taking this time to tune in, whether it's on our podcast, video broadcasts. We really, really do appreciate you taking this time. And please, if you haven't yet, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Like, share, and please subscribe so you get the latest updates. Now, before we go, Mitch, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Another phenomenon with amputations people aren't aware of is phantom limb pain.
I heard of that, yeah.
Which is, so you can lose your arm and feel like you have pain in your fingertips, or lose your leg and have pain in your foot.
Yeah.
And it's not even there. And that phantom limb pain is also something that the rider should be compensated for. So there's a lot of issues out there that if you know, you could look to get the rider the fair compensation.
Yeah, there you go. Definitely. Well, thanks again, Mitch, for yet another informative session with you. And thank you all for checking us out. And remember, we ride just like you. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much again, Mitch.
Thank you, Mel.
All right.
Ride free, ride safe. Thank you.